Hey everyone, and today I'm going to do my tips for round 3. I'll start off with the Friday night game, Freo and Essendon. This is going to be a very fascinating contest. The last time these two teams played against each other was at Patterson Stadium last year, and Essendon actually got up that night. They won by 4 goals in the end, and Michael Hurley also kicked a career high 6 goals, so that was a bit of a highlight for the Bombers. However, I think Fremantle are a much better side this year than this time last year, and the fact that it's at home for them gives them a huge advantage. They don't lose there often, and what do you know, Essendon don't win there too often, so I reckon the Dockers are in the box seat to win this one. Should be a great test for two of the best sides at the moment, but I think Fremantle will win this one by 20 points. The second game of the round is North Melbourne and Sydney, and this should be another interesting contest. Although Sydney do have the wood over North Melbourne, they've won the last 6 games against them, and the last time North actually defeated Sydney was in 2007, so it's been a while since they've upsetted the Swans. The game is at Blundstone Arena, which may well favour the Roos. They defeated GWS there last year by 129 points and narrowly lost to West Coast by 2 points. Sydney also appear to be a bit underdone, having a late start to the pre-season, and they've only had 2 somewhat comfortable wins against 2 of the bottom 3 sides, you'd have to agree. They've only defeated GWS and Gold Coast, but not too convincingly either. This will no doubt be a low-scoring affair, because you're playing against Sydney and that's what you're going to get. I think North can cause an upset here. I think they'll get home by 2 points. The third game of the round is Melbourne up against West Coast. This game shouldn't be too much of a worry for tipsters out there. Although it's 2 sides playing rather ordinary football at the moment, but I don't think anyone could be playing worse than Melbourne at this point in time. The only thing that gives Melbourne any slight hopes of causing a major upset is that it's at the MCG, and West Coast don't play there all that often. And it's also quite amazing that the last time West Coast won the MCG was against Melbourne back in 2010, round 8. The Demons also haven't beaten West Coast since 2009, so it's certainly been a while. I think West Coast should get a comfortable win. I think they'll win by 43 points. The fourth game of the round is GWS up against St Kilda. And, well, you'd think this is a perfect opportunity for the Saints to get on the winners list. They defeated GWS by 128 points at Etihad Stadium last year, so they don't mind playing against them, but that's only 1 game. They should get a decent win here. They would surely have enough experience and seasoned players to get across the line. Otherwise, I think there's a few worries for the Saints and Scott Watters. But I think the Saints will get home comfortably by 38 points. The fifth game of the round is Gold Coast up against Brisbane, so the good old Queensland clash should be a beauty because Brisbane aren't exactly performing as people expected, and Gold Coast are off to a pretty good start to the season, causing a huge upset at Metricon Stadium in round 1 against the Saints. Brisbane have won 3 of the 4 clashes between these 2 sides, so that gives them a distinct advantage. Although Gold Coast don't mind a win at home, and this is being played at Metricon Stadium. And I think Gold Coast are a good chance to cause an upset once again. I think they'll win this one in a close game by 9 points. We've got another intriguing contest, this time at Etihad Stadium between Geelong and Carlton. Apparently Carlton have never beaten Geelong at Etihad Stadium before. I found that stat quite amazing. Geelong have won the last 3 against Carlton, and overall 8 of the last 10 against them, so they certainly seem to have a good record against them. And since it's obviously at Etihad Stadium, it gives them a really good advantage. With those stats in mind, I think the Cats will get home in a close-ish match. I reckon Geelong will get home by 11 points. The 7th game of the round is between the Western Bulldogs and Richmond. This will be a great reality check for both sides, but I reckon probably more for the Bulldogs after their great round 1 victory. Richmond thrashed the Bulldogs by 70 points last year, and that was actually the first time they defeated them since 2005. Richmond also haven't been 3 wins and no losses at the start of the season since 1995, so certainly been a while since I've been in that situation. Should be a quality contest, and I think Richmond will win this one by 23 points. The second last game of the round, which probably will be match of the round, Collingwood up against the Hawks. The Hawks got back on track last week after defeating the Eagles by 50 points, and Collingwood have also started the season off quite nicely too, defeating 2 sides they couldn't defeat last year. Hawthorn have won the last 3 against Collingwood pretty comprehensively, and Lance Franklin also doesn't mind playing against Collingwood. He's kicked 46 goals in just 11 games against them, so expect him to probably kick a bag. It also appears Nick Maxwell has a fractured wrist and he'll be out for about 2 months, so they're saying, and Darren Jolly didn't show up to training, so if the Pies are to win, it's going to be a ginormous task for them to pull an upset here. Should be a great contest. I think the Hawks should be right to win this game. I'm going to tip them to win by 16 points. The last game of the round between Adelaide and Port Adelaide, the good old showdown. We always love it, especially when these 2 teams are up and firing. Port are in pretty good form, having 2 convincing wins, although they have come against Melbourne and GWS, so you wouldn't want to read into that too much. Adelaide are back on track after coming from behind to beat the Lions. They were 8 points down at 3/4 time and managed to find a way. Adelaide have won the last 3 games between these 2 sides, so Port haven't actually beaten them since 2011, and I think Adelaide's class will just prevail in the end here and help them out. Although it should be another interesting contest, and it'll definitely show where both sides are at. I think Adelaide will be able to get home by 31 points. So those are my tips for round 3. Feel free to put in your tips as well in the comments, and like the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys all soon.